Hey, what's good, comic fans? This is Confire Comics, and today we're going to be talking about 4 Star Wars comics that dropped yesterday. Is this Star Wars overload? And the answer to that is heck no. I'm Confire Rich.
And I'm Campfire Nate. And the first one we're going to talk about is Star Wars number 10. Now, we left last time with Luke in pretty deep stuff. And you weren't really sure what was going to come from that. And, this is getting kind of interesting. What'd you think, Rich?
Yeah. I liked it. I mean, ironically enough, Luke's getting some lightsaber training in. He's suspected a fight, which I think it's interesting that he's with another Hutt and he's going to be fighting in an arena, just like he did in Return of the Jedi. But now he's got this dude, and they got all these lightsabers, and basically honing his skills. So I find it interesting that it's probably, helping him along. I don't know if this goes into when we see him on the Empire Strikes Back. He's a little bit more comfortable with the lightsaber, and we just see him that gap there. This fills in that gap a little bit, which helps him get more comfortable in his training, fighting somebody else with a lightsaber. I found that very interesting in this particular issue.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what's the deal with this trainer guy. Like, I get a feeling like he might have another role to play. Like, maybe there's something more to this guy because he knows a lot and he's kind of shadowy. I'm wondering, who is this guy? Maybe that was just me.
Yeah.
Maybe this character wasn't supposed to be as interesting as he came across. Like, maybe this guy there's more to him than just who he is. But
Right.
he obviously knows how to use a lightsaber, which, I mean, not saying that he could be someone who knew how to use a lightsaber. Just saying he just seems interesting. There's something going on there. I found that was interesting. The Han Solo being married and the Leia, that little, love triangle thing going on there. I'm kind of over that. I'm ready for that to come to an end.
Yes.
I don't want to
This
keep
annoyed
dragging
me.
that out any more than it has to be, but at least they're headed in the right direction, which is to rescue Luke.
Right.
I love any Chewie time. Chewie's just crazy. He's walking in there, he's tearing, droids apart. He's going into the bar and he's
Dropping
like
people off buildings.
I mean, I love Chewie. Yeah, Chewie's great. I love when Chewie can be what he's known to be, which is this scary, big, Chewie. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, it's very rare that we get to see that, and it's nice. I like that.
Yeah, it was good. And that was one good thing about this comic was that, I mean, there are at least 3. You go back to Han and them, and they're trying to escape, and then you go back to Chewie, and he's running the bar. He's throwing people out of the bar and trying to find out what's up with Luke. And then when you go over to Luke, which to me was the most interesting part of this comic was, him training and then putting on this battle for him, and they bring in this beast, and it was interesting. But you're 100% right. The deal with Han and Leia and that other chick, like, they beating it over the head for some reason. Like, she keeps saying, "Oh, hubby, husband." Like, they just keep, it's like, okay, we get it. You keep saying you're married. Quit saying it. I'm tired of hearing it. You're annoying. Why are you not dead yet? That's what I keep saying in my head. So that was annoying. In this one, overall, not a lot happened. They're setting up for something big to happen probably in the next one. Now, all of them are going to be there. I'm assuming Luke's going to fight. Chew's going to show up. Princess Leia and Han are going to show up. And hopefully we get a nice little battle in the next issue.
Yeah, and it's interesting for sure. The next one, Darth Vader number 10. I like this issue. I thought there was a lot of really interesting things happening in this issue. What did you think, Rich?
Well, I think this is going to be the one we disagree on because I could have thrown this one away, to be honest. Like, there wasn't really anything profound about it. The guys, still, up Vader's butt and everything. And, Vader's questioning people, whatever, and don't fail me, whatever. He sends this chick to Naboo to ask, like, this guy was the mortician, basically, that put Princess Amidala in the ground, and they staged her to still be pregnant, But this is stuff we already knew, and Vader already knows that he had a kid, but they send him down to torture this guy anyway and ask questions like, yes, there was a son. Left out the part about Princess Leia. So then they go back and tell Vader. To me, there wasn't. We didn't gain anything from this because we already heard.
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't. It's again, just for me, it was because Vader. Just because Vader found out that the name of this pilot was Skywalker, it made his mind race to the thought of what could be. But Vader needs proof. Vader is willing to send his little archaeologist henchman on a mission to go a route that I honestly, the thing was, I didn't think about this route. Like the way he went about finding out, like, people who staged the body, who would know for sure. I mean, it was a lot of detail in figuring out to go that route. And I really was like, I had never really thought about that. I guess maybe that's the reason that I thought it was a neat way for him to find out if it was real. And then when she came back and told him, it was just like, it was already proof. It wasn't something that we needed to know as readers. It was seeing him finally kind of knowing it for sure. I mean, not like you saw a facial expression. Again, I love just his stale kind of stare. But now he knows. That's what he needs to know. And that's why he was like, we need to get to this pilot before the guy that was sent after him. You know what I'm saying? Right. It was like he needed to know this point to make now this is my this is my goal right now. I need to get to my son for my purposes before he's killed. Plain and simple. And it's kind of, I mean, in a weird, strange way, he's kind of trying to protect his son. I mean, which is kind of strange. I mean, when you think about it, not like he's going to win Best Father of the Award anytime soon. But it was interesting. That's the part that I guess I liked. It was a small kind of setup to what's coming that I liked.
I mean, it was neat. I mean, I guess I liked how they threaded the prequels in there, just more of the story with the movies tying in there about her being pregnant and her buried and staging it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard enough to try to do this, but to do it in a way that I guess I found that was un-Lucasy, which would be dropping off the bridge, actually weaving things together that was nice, unlike sometimes movies with George Lucas being the one doing it. But the fact that it fit nicely. Which is what we want as Star Wars fans. We want it to fit like Legos, not like, square blocks trying to go in round holes. We want closure, and this was a very nice closure comic for fans who want to kind of know, how this all fits together. So that's the reason why I liked it. I liked at it was interesting at the end. Obviously, someone was watching Vader. I don't know who that is. It could be the Emperor. It could be his little monocled henchman that's following him around. I'm not sure exactly who it was, but overall, it wasn't a super holy crap issue, but I thought it was interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, it was all right. There were two lines in it, though, that I liked, both of them from Vader, and one of them was just like, I fear nothing.
Yeah.
She's like, is there something I need to know? That, something come around the corner? He was like, I fear nothing. I ain't stunting nobody. And nothing means he's not even afraid of the Emperor at this point. It made him mad. I'm sure he respects him, but I took that in like I ain't scared of Jack. And then the next one was crap. Well, darn it, I had it and I forgot it. That was right after that. Anyway, maybe to come to me as we're.
Well, I thought it was interesting. He said, "I fear nothing, but fear is the way to the dark side." So I'm like. True. It was kind of funny he said that. And I'm like, it just, the whole thing was just interesting. That's all. But the next one is something that we've been waiting for a while, and that is the finale to the 5-issue run of Lando. I felt good with the way it ended. What did you think, Rich?
It was good the way it ended. I wasn't sure what they was going to do. The way they kind of built up to it. I had no idea what was going to happen. I was like, man, how are they going to wrap this up? I feel like there's so much here to explore. But it was just, just kind of wrapping up, with the little mutant twins or lovers or little panther people getting killed. That was the one scene I liked at it the most, where he's immediately always trying, Lando's always trying to make a deal. Making the deals like, yo, you haven't even talked about Plan C yet. Let me tell you about Plan C. Yeah. And, the stuff like that, which I really like that aspect of Lando because that's the way he was for this whole issue. Even with that little Panther dude, he's just like, let me make a deal with you. Check this out.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I can't fight you. Everybody knows Han Solo, that Lando doesn't know the right end of a blast, and then he's just like, bam, 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 jacks him up.
Yeah, what's the name's like? I didn't know you was like, anybody that knows I can, use a blaster is dead.
Yeah, I
Um,
did like that a lot.
I think this comic as a whole is supposed to give you another little insight into Lando, and it did a great job. I love you get to know Lando. I feel like they could continue this all the way up into how in the world he got in control of Cloud City. Because where he ends here is not like he's anywhere close to Cloud City. You're like, man, this guy is.
Yeah.
But you can see how easily it would be for him to be in charge of a city because the dude is a smooth operator. And
Yep.
he this whole issue was just reminding you just how much of a clever person Lando is. I liked how basically the center of this issue was Lobot and how he became who he is. We've in some of the episodes of Rebels they've talked about the implants and how the implants can take over your mind and make you more like a robot, less like a person. They talked about that a little bit in this issue at the beginning, and you saw how eventually, he became who he was when we saw him in Empire Strikes Back, which was pretty much like a robot, but he's working side by side with Lando. So it was taking a character who literally had about maybe 5 or 6 scenes in a movie, who I don't even know if you even heard his name more than once, and then absolutely expounding on that character, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, they did a good job with him. And you're talking about him taking over Cloud City. The end of this kind of wraps up with him pep talking, Lando before he's completely, turned over to the robotic form, which is, you're a good person, you're a leader, people will follow you, use your luck, your skill, your charm to do something good. And I immediately, flash forward to him, taking out the Death Star and him leading troops in, and him turning into that person. So this is kind of staging, Lando up to go to Cloud City and to be the person that he's to become.
Yeah.
So
it was great because I like the part where he's like, you're a natural leader. You just need something to believe in, and that's, that it's literally, I loved how after he was done, he left him a little like recording of all this. And I think the recording nailed it on the head. The finale was great. It's a great 5-issue run. It's worth reading if you're a Star Wars fan, if you're a Lando fan. I mean, you should read it, plain and simple. But the last thing we're going to talk about is what's the extent? Journey to Force Awakens, Shattered Empire, issue number 2. What did you think about this, Rich?
I like it. This is my favorite comic series just because everything we're getting is completely new, and you have to really pay attention just because of the nuggets that come along with this being Poe Dameron's parents, and so we're stuck solely on his mom. Who we to believe is mom? That's his mom. Ain't no who would believe that's his mom.
Well, it mentioned in this comic, it already talked about Poe. That's why I thought was interesting. He said you haven't seen your son.
No, it says you haven't seen your... It said boy. I went back and reread it because they hooked up. Like, this is 17 days after the Battle of Endor. Where we think that... Poe, I mean, maybe he already is a boy, but just you hadn't even seen your boy.
Well, I thought he said... I'll have to go back and read, but I thought he said you haven't seen your son, Poe. I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
It said boy, because I read it twice to make sure. I was like, that doesn't make sense. How is she seeing her boy? It was like... Because we were under the influence that she just had him 17 days ago. Like, they just conceived him at the Battle of Endor after that.
Right. Well, that basically means that the Battle of Endor wasn't his conception. What we saw was not the conception. And that he's actually
but she said he's stationed. So, I mean, he's got to... She said he's already stationed fighting. You'll get to see him. I don't know. It made me think that... It was just weird the way it was worded. But you're right. I mean, it definitely said Poe and your boy... and stuff, but
yeah. So I mean, he's already.
We get to hear, yeah. So we're following her and seeing her battle. There wasn't a lot going on. The only thing I took from this mainly was who is the messenger that had a picture of who had the Emperor pop up and attack Naboo at the end to jam it. Like that was the only thing I was just like. What? Because he's not alive. The Emperor is dead.
Yeah, we know the Emperor is dead. I mean, what we don't know is there someone using the influence of the Emperor to get things done? Or is this like a last will and testament left by the emperor. The emperor left this as, if I die, do this. And this guy, I mean, he could have just been a, Imperial Royal Guard who just happened to have
a message
a screen on his face,
yeah.
and he was able to project that image. What I found interesting was that the image was basically wipe out Naboo. That's where he came from. He wants, and I'm like, dude, what is on Naboo that is so important that he wants to wipe out where he came from after death? I mean, think about it. I'm wondering what's up with that.
It was interesting. When I saw it, I was like, wait a second, what's going on, man? The Emperor's dead. They're not going to drop a time bomb on you like that in a comic book. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to reveal that type of information. So I don't think he's alive, but is this like, Snoke, from the new movie? Is this him coming up, or like, is somebody controlling this image, or is it just like you said, just a last will and testament, like he just pre-recorded something to go, even though he called this captain by name? Like, I don't know. It was, I'm anxious to find out what it is. This is my favorite one, just because it's leading up to The Force Awakens, and you're getting all these little pieces of information. Poe was mentioned, you're seeing his parents, and
what
I
we
like
want to
all
know
of that.
with the whole thing is this going to tie in the First Order to what's coming? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, we want to know that, and with all the Star Wars, people out there that are going through their head, man, trying to figure things out, you kind of want to know. It's making you wonder, especially this, is the Emperor just another player in a bigger game? Is the Emperor, is there someone behind the Emperor? I mean, I wouldn't imagine that's the case.
He was running the whole...
It just feels like someone's trying to jump on the coattails of what the Emperor had already done.
Because, the Empire is in chaos right now. And, I mean, you got people who believe he's dead, people who believe he's alive. The Empire spreading propaganda to probably the inner realm planets that they still have control over. From reading the Lost Stars book, I get a little bit more insight to how the Empire's, still fighting and piecing themselves together and, trying to regroup and stuff like that to take on the new alliance, or the new Republic. And things like that. So definitely, and there's a fight for power. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, with the Emperor dead, there's nobody to fill his shoes, and there is a big fight for power. And this might be the first in that fight for power that somebody's trying to regain by pretending the Emperor's still alive, is what I'm thinking. But anyway, those are our comics for the day. Shattered Empire issue number 2. We had... Star Wars issue 10, Vader issue 10, and then Lando issue 5, which the Lando series is wrapped up, and more of the other ones to come. So, like, comment, subscribe, get in the conversation. How excited are you about these comics? Look, I'm always excited to read some Star Wars comics, and I was really pumped to get down and read 4 of them, right in a row. Although, for me, I wanted a little bit more from all of them, but that's probably the way it's going to be for me all the time. I always want more. Hey, but that's all we got. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at ComfireRich. You can follow Nate at ComfireNate. And until next time, we're out.
See ya.